We are preparing to live stream. Woo, woo. See if. Okay, the question is, where am I? If you have figured out Facebook, I would love to hear from you. One of the things I am struggling with is, as I had many entrepreneurial ideas, I created a page for everything. Like I got a page for Joypreneur because I thought we need more joy, and entrepreneurs leading the way with joy was a thing. Anyhow, never did anything with that page, but it's there. Imagine School. Gosh, that's like back like 10 years ago. I made that page thinking that, more imagination in schools. Maybe after downtown Denver's first school, I was going to create another school, and that was something that I just wanted the page name just in case and didn't end up using it. So I have all these pages that I want to clean up. My main challenge is I have a page called We Are Building Brilliance for my business, because together that's what we're doing. We're learning high performance leadership skills to cultivate the leader within us and to allow us to lead high performance lives. Each and every one of us is a leader, and every day we lead the most difficult person on the planet, ourselves. And so we have opportunities to cultivate leadership. And I love blending that with the research on high performance, because high performers are happier and less stressed than their peers. The definition of high performance, according to the largest body of research, is that the world's highest performers consistently outperform the competition while maintaining their health and well-being and quality relationships. When I learned that, I thought that hasn't been my history. And what I learned was that I'm a peak performer. I scale the peak and plummet to the valley to recover after I've exhausted myself, made all the sacrifices, scale the next peak, plummet and recover. And so that's exhausting, right? You'll see that my logo for Building Brilliance is an atom. And that's because that's my reminder to utilize Newtonian physics in my daily life as I pursue career growth and make courageous moves in life to advance and have things that, thanks to my daughter's love of horses, that I couldn't afford at one time as an educator. Yet, as I had that, what high performance research would call performance necessity, when we raise performance necessity, we also meet that with this expanded version of ourselves. Think about a time when someone told you, I bet you can't. What did you do? You rose to the occasion and proved them wrong, didn't you? So that's performance necessity. When we have the necessity to perform, and I like to position myself for performance necessity. The past couple things that I've done have been through real estate. I've positioned myself in a place where I have to perform to be able to afford the lifestyle that I'm providing for my daughter as a single mom. So that's been a big motivator for me. And I would love to know, what are the motivators for you? People ask all the time, what's your why, right? And you're like, well, why? Because I love my daughter and I want a role model for her. That's a great why to have, but that won't get you up every single day like performance necessity will. When you have to perform, it's like, I know this one's controversial, but I love Tom Brady. I'm not a Patriots fan. However, what I love about him is when you study the way he's architected his life, he manages every morsel that goes into his body so that he can perform. That is that top 1%. I want you thinking normal distribution curve. If everybody else is doing it, you likely shouldn't be, if you have big ambitions. Right? If you want to settle into the mediocre middle, then that's a choice you can make. However, we are wired for challenge. And I can tell you, when you settle into that mediocre middle, you will not be activating challenge in your life and you will be unhappy. That path leads to obesity, depression, anxiety, divorce, you name it. Our world's filled with it. Right? And I want you making shift happen to grow into the top 10%, 8%, 5%, 2%, 1%. Pick your percent. Wherever you feel that you might be able to shift from that norm, and just one standard deviation at a time, move into the direction of alignment with your dreams. High performers use congruence. They take the best of themselves and they match that with their behaviors. And so we look at behavioral analysis in this program. So I'm super excited. I'm going to be challenging myself to do a 6-week live stream challenge. It makes me very nervous. There's part of me that thinks, what could I possibly talk about every single day for 6 weeks, minus Sundays, because Sabbath and rest. And I'm learning to practice that and how important it is for my well-being and mental health and spiritual health and preventing cancer recurrence. So with that, we're talking, the challenge that I'm facing is where to go live so that most of you can tune in. And also what time. I'm happy to be here to serve you. If you want 7 p.m. versus 9 a.m., you tell me. So please reach out. Let me know what time works best for you. If you're a Facebook guru, I need some help. So I've got We Are Building Brilliance. That's a page. High Performance Leadership is a group. We Are Building Brilliance has a couple hundred people. High Performance Leadership has 2. So obviously, to reach more people, I want to be in We Are Building Brilliance. I'd like them to just be one thing, but in all honesty, I'm still learning the difference between a page and a group and what I can do where. And yesterday I had the scariest thing happen. I received this announcement from Facebook. I'm doing this training on Meta business accounts and trying to figure this all out. And I get a notification that says, business account not allowed to advertise. Didn't comply with advertising policy or other standards. And I thought, I'm not even advertising yet. How did I already break the rules? I know I'm a disruptor, but come on. And so then I saw these restrictions placed on my account. And so I requested a review. And luckily that review came back saying advertising access was reinstated. And that it says, we reviewed your account actively again and found that it does follow our advertising policies affecting business assets. And I was like, holy cow, I don't even know what I did wrong, but it makes me hesitant to be in there playing and making mistakes and knowing that those mistakes are part of my learning journey. So if you know a little about Facebook, would you please reach out and help me clean up this messy middle that I'm in, where I've made lots of pages. I now know I have my personal page, Jennifer Arsberger or Dr. J. I have We Are Building Brilliance as my business page. And I have High Performance Leadership as a group. I don't know how to make all those things go together, or if there's a way to simply post in all areas so that people can see them and have the invitation to be a part of this community and these free trainings. I think that the number one differentiator that helped me build this level of success is that I've been focused on leadership since 4th grade. Thank you, Mrs. Davis. You're part of why I became a teacher. And I want you to think about cultivating leadership and what that really means. Every day I'm studying something related to leadership. Listen to what I learned today. I'm reading a book called Rare Leadership. Rare stands for an acronym, and the authors are talking about a maturity continuum. And I always know from leading the development of leaders across the globe over the past 7 years in 13 countries, that I can tell the maturity of a leader based on how they respond to an announcement of change. If their response is fight or flight, they're the least mature on the continuum. If their words are I and me, if I hear a lot of, how does this affect me? What am I going to do? I know that's the least mature leader in the room. Leaders who are a little more mature have evolved and learned to ask questions about their teams. So you'll hear things like, how is this going to affect the support team or the customer success team or the sales team, right? It'll be team centric. That's a little more mature than I. We're moving from I and me to we, which is good. And then the most mature are looking at the organization, the nation, and the world in a greater economic lens. So that's why maintaining multiple perspectives is important. The best tools I've learned to look at perspective taking are systems thinking and dynamic modeling tools. And so all of these things I'm realizing have influenced how I navigate the world. They determine the steps that I take throughout the day. I love learning. There was scripture that I came across that said, the Lord delights in the details of your lives. He directs the steps of the godly. Well, that's fine and good. but I need to also be playing in that arena, right? I want to co-create and I want to do that responsibly. So I want to share a little bit about rare leadership, just because it's fresh on the top of my mind. So we're talking about leadership development. And I want you to kind of make note of these things. Everyone is a leader. Every day you lead the most difficult person on the planet, and that's yourself. You're also, if you're a mom, you're leading your children. You are also probably leading, I don't know about you, but it might be that there's, the traffic lights are out and you're kind of leading the way through traffic. You might find yourself at the grocery store leading the way to the most effective path of getting from point A to point B with all the things you need. You're leading often, way more often than you think. And so sometimes we think a leader means you've reached a certain level of status in an organization. It might mean that someone deems you a leader. They wave their magic wand and declare that that's who you are, and no one's declared that for you yet. That doesn't matter. You are a leader, period, hard stop. If you got yourself out of bed this morning, you're a leader. You led the way to putting your feet on the floor, to doing your hair, to all the things. So first thing, I'm going to take notes with you. We are all leaders. And each and every day we lead the most difficult person on the planet, and that's ourselves. That's part one. Second is high performance. Why does that matter? And why are we focused on high performance leadership? Because I don't want you sacrificing your health and well-being and quality relationships in exchange for career success. At the end of the day, we are going to face the reality of our lives, and we're going to have this look back moment. I faced that in December with the diagnosis of a very aggressive, high growth tumor in my breast. The Ki-67 protein on a scale of 0 to 20 was a 51, describing how fast it grows. It was not staging, that's different, a level 3 tumor, which is the most aggressive. There's 3 levels, mine was 3. I had to make plans deciding what's going to happen to my daughter if I die. I had to make plans on how do I want my funeral to go. Facing that has you take a real hard look in the mirror and say, wow, I've done amazing things with my career, but I know I'm meant for more. That brings us to what sets great leaders apart. The research on what sets the greatest leaders apart, what the most mature leaders are able to do differently, they have 4 attributes, these 4 things: the actions they take, the results they achieve, how they think, and who they are. Actions, if you want to take leadership action, read anything by John Maxwell, anything by Kouzes and Posner, anything by Carnegie, anything by Covey. Those are my favorites. That's what I've been reading since 4th grade. I love those books. Now, the piece that I really want to focus on, and if you take the right actions, you'll achieve the results, right? That part is more mainstream, common knowledge. Also of importance to mention is habits, right? The actions they take, those are habitual patterns of behavior. If you want to study habits, look at Brendan Burchard's High Performance Habits and look at James Clear, Atomic Habits. 2 best books on habits, hands down. So you've got that going on. Now, though, we look at how they think. I don't know about you, but not many people have opened up the most extraordinary leaders' minds and been able to share how they think. So that's what we're going to be focusing on with high performance leadership, how they think. And then my favorite, who they are. If you think of the most extraordinary leader you've ever worked with, they were an extraordinary human being. And we have to know ourselves and become how they think and who they are leans into our next point, which is on femininity. This is fascinating. A body of research came out in 2019 capturing it was conducted in 18 nations, comprising 60% of the GDP in Fortune 500 boardrooms, 64,000 participants. Meets a lot of my criteria for what makes a good study. Is it global? Is the N large enough to scale? Was it inclusive of the world's best organizations? And so yes, yes, and yes, in this case. They basically took a list of character traits Half of the survey participants had to determine whether they were masculine, feminine, or neutral traits. The other half had to determine, without knowledge of what was happening with the first half of survey respondents, they had to determine what was critical for 21st century prosperity. And what they found was that the feminine traits were the ones we need to lean into. We all have masculine and feminine within us. If you're like me, as you grew your success, you ended up in more male-dominated environments, and you grew into your masculine. I grew my masculine. I'm the man of the house. I'm the woman of the house as a single mom. And it felt like, as the breadwinner and as the provider, making all these dreams come true for my family, I embraced and leaned into more of my masculine energy. That's the decisive, goal setter, aggressive, high achieving energy. That's a good place to be. It helps us get to certain milestones in our lives. What was in my shadow, so one of the things I've been working on right now is shadow work. There's a great book I'm reading called Romancing the Shadow. And I want you to think about that your shadow this is all still new to me, which is why I'm pausing and trying to find the right words. If you think about it, your shadow is the part of you can't see, but it's always there until the darkness comes and you're able to sit with yourself, right? So there's this needing of light to be able to see our shadows. And what are the parts of ourselves that we're not seeing? For myself, I wasn't seeing that I had let go of that nurturing side of myself, that relational side, that focused on communication, emotional awareness, emotional intelligence, emotional regulation. A lot of those things in my pursuit of goals had been put to the wayside in the shadow of me. They were still a part of me, but they didn't get as much attention as they needed. And when I came across this body of research in the book, The Athena Doctrine, I thought, oh my gosh, this is the great invitation to femininity. The way they compare and contrast these is the decisive, aggressive goal setter versus the collaborative, agile, flexible. Like, that's our femininity. We have both, and we need to lean. I think all of us are a little over masculine in our world, in our society, and we need to lean into some of those feminine traits. So that's what we're going to be focusing on during my launch, which is going to start November 6th. I'm going to unpack a lot of the best lessons you've ever learned or that I've ever learned in leadership that you've likely never learned. Here's another fact. Most people assume their first leadership role in their 20s and never receive training until their 40s. That might be you. You might just have never been trained on how to lead yourself. Self-awareness is the number one trait that the best leaders in the world demonstrate. And so we've got to get to know ourselves. That's that piece of what sets great leaders apart, is who they are. If you're like me, you were masking up. You put on that mask of masculinity. You had some distance between the true version of yourself and who you really are. Who you really are is love, is joy, is happiness, is peace. That's the truth of your being. And if you're like me, you likely forgot that amidst the hustle and hurry of the day. So I want to bring you back, remind you of that. And I'm designing this 5-day masterclass embedded with challenge for you to take action each day. And I would love for you to join me November 6th. I want you to invite a friend. So please share this link with them. Please invite them to join the page, like and follow the page, We Are Building Brilliance. That's where all announcements will take place. My tech team's working on my website, so I do not have a website up and we're running right now. So we're using Facebook, which is very scary to be dependent on that platform. However, announcements will be posted in LinkedIn and on Facebook. Those are the two areas where most of my people live. We Are Building Brilliance is the page. High Performance Leadership is our private group where we can talk to each other about these concepts. So I want you joining both of those things, and together we'll figure out what that next step looks like. So if you are ready to build brilliance in yourself, in your family, and your community around you, and know that those little micro actions that we take each day make such a big difference that we transform the world together. If you are ready to reveal the brilliance that's within you, I want you in this program. So join me, mark your calendars, November 6th, 7 p.m. Mountain, 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll be going live for 5 days. I'm jam packing all of the best information that I have for you. Because I don't know about you, but when you're thinking about making courageous career moves that lead you to the lifestyle of your wildest dreams, it's scary. You need more than mindset. Mindset and motivation are fabulous tools, but you really need the leadership skills that will lay the foundation for yourself to be the leader of you, the most difficult person you have to manage, to be the leader of your business and position yourself as a category of one. Leadership skills are the skills that differentiate the great from the good, from the average. And I want to position you in the land of extraordinary. Everything improves when you position yourself to be extraordinary. I used to think there were trade-offs. I had these great 8 dimensions of life, and I would always be focused on a different dimension. I'll be sharing those dimensions just to get you thinking about where are your blind spots, where's getting a little too much attention, and what areas have maybe been being neglected as a result of that lack of awareness. But I started building success by building all of the dimensions of my life that matter, so that I didn't end up at the end of my life going, all I focused on was career. That's all I got. And a few good relationships. I want better than that for myself. And I want better than that for you. I want us to be striving for the extraordinary. Good to great. Thank you, Jim Collins. I love that book. I'm here to help you go from great to extraordinary, my friends. I want that next level for you, because I know from firsthand experience, when we choose good and great, there's still something within us that has yet to be revealed. And extraordinary comes when we focus on how we think and who we are. That's what sets the greatest leaders apart. And it's also often in our blind spot, in our shadows that we're not paying attention to. So we're going to slow down. We're going to lay the firm foundation for success in your life, in your business and career. And I'm so excited. Mark your calendars, the week of November 6th, 7 p.m. Mountain. Follow We Are Building Brilliance. Join the group High Performance Leadership. I want to create with you. I'm so excited for this opportunity to share all of these lessons learned and position you to make courageous career change that will change your life. Our careers fund our lifestyles. I wouldn't have made it to this level without strategic focus on leadership development. It is what separated me. I always say, like, most people, they want to go to the pros, but they brought their Pee-wee playbook. If you really want to go to the pros, you need a different playbook. And it is not the hustle and grind and sacrifice yourself playbook. The high performance playbook focuses on maintaining your health and well-being, your quality relationships. It focuses on more happiness and joy and less stress. Let's go. I want to equip you with all of that high performance playbook, and we are going to be going live talking about that the week of November 6th. Invite a friend. It's more fun when we're together. You'll need that personal accountability partner to help you nudge forward in the direction of your dreams, to say, hey, we're doing this together. The joy factor comes in that togetherness, which reminds me of the recap. I'm going to give you a 3-minute in a nutshell of the book, Rare Leadership. So rare leaders, they're the most mature on that continuum. R stands for remain relational. That means you're putting emotional intelligence and relationships center stage, not your KPIs and OKRs and your ROI. All of those things matter, but how do we get there? Through people. So we must remain relational. A is act like yourself. That's that piece of what sets great leaders apart, is who they are. You are love, joy, peace. Act like it. Return to joy is the next R. And joy is the fuel that our brain wants to run on. Yet we're wired with negativity bias, and so we often run on fear. I want you optimizing your operating system up here. That means we're going to choose to run on joy. And then the last letter of that acronym RARE is E, endure hardship well. The least mature leaders don't demonstrate emotional intelligence, right? They act out in anger or in rage. I've been guilty as charged. When I get super heightened levels of stress, I just snap at things. And that is the least mature leadership we can demonstrate in our lives. The most mature is to recognize hardship is inherent in life. And so I'm going to let that flow like water off a duck's back. I'm not going to get emotionally charged by that. And I'm going to recognize, thank you, Brene Brown, there's 87 emotions. I'm going to experience and feel all of them and navigate through them like a river, passing by each stone of emotion throughout the day. And then when I was listening to this author, he talked about this concept of being relational. And a lot of us, I think we've endured so many layered crises in our world that we've gotten into that fight or flight, self-protect mode, and we have forgotten how to be relational. And what I love about country life is we are so relational. So when I heard this CAKE acronym, I really liked it. He said, when I'm relational, I'm curious, right? When we think we know it all, like, oh, here they come again. I know they're going to do X, Y, Z. That's what they always do. Or here's this problem. I know how that one gets solved. We lack curiosity. Respond with wonderment and awe is one of the habits of mind of the world's most successful people. I'll be equipping you with the habits of mind during our launch, November 6th. Mark your calendars. Let's see here. The A is appreciation. Are you showing genuine appreciation and gratitude for all the little things? K is kindness. Random acts of kindness used to be one of my favorite things to focus on with my students when I was a teacher. And so I think just that's very country. I look at how many people, I had barely moved here when I was diagnosed with my cancer. And so many people reached out showing me so many acts of kindness. It blew me away. And it helped me see, in a world that's really filled with bad headlines, my life over the past 10 months has been filled with nothing but love. And so I just love the kindness of the human spirit. Remaining relational means we're choosing to be kind. And then E is eye contact. That often we know that we're in relation with someone when we're making eye contact, when we look them in the eye. That's how we say, I see you. You belong here. You're important to me. So you'll notice one of the best parts of leadership is it's a return to our humanity. It feels good. And I want you to feel good again, my friends. It's time. I feel good. Can I get a little James Brown up in here? You have no idea how much I wish. If I could wave a magic wand for business, I wish I could pump any tunes that I wanted when I go live to train and teach, because I know copyright and honoring all of that is really important. But as a disruptor and as a rule breaker, pusher, whatever you want to call it, I just think that sometimes you might hear a song on a training with me and go, yeah, I want to get that jam. And it might actually boost business instead of having so many copyright laws. But anyhow, I'll get shut down if I play that. So just go to your favorite music channel, whether that's Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, whatever you use, and type in, I feel good, and do a little dance with me. And let's feel good. And let's choose to bring the joy. Joy is based on a happy to see you form of attachment. And so we need to be more relational. We need to be with people more often. We need to connect in community. That's the other thing that is often missing on the path to success, is it becomes this solo independent adventure. Guilty as charged once again. And I want you to be doing that in community, which is why this group exists. So I'm so excited you're here. Welcome to High Performance Leadership. That's what we're all about in a nutshell. I look forward to seeing you next week. Invite a friend. Like We Are Building Brilliance, please join the group High Performance Leadership so that we can dialogue, talk, connect. I look forward to getting to know you and sharing all of the best leadership tools in the world, all the best systems thinking tools, helping you grow your self-awareness so that you can continue to escape that mediocre middle. Do not conform to the patterns of this world, my friends. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. When you know better, you will be doing better. And as we learn together in community, we will support each other in doing better, because together we are building brilliance in ourselves, in our families and communities, and in our world. With much love, go out and shine your love and light into the world. Mwah.